My name is Louis Guido. I am the business manager for commercial and residential door products for CPSG. Appreciate you, everybody, being on this meeting today. I'm joined by Nitin Shafalkar. He is the very intertwined into the diagnostic dashboard and facility access side of the MyQ. This is it's a really great product. There's a lot of incentives, a lot of reasons to be able to, um, make it part of your business. And during this presentation, we're going to go over some of the benefits of what you can gain, what your customers can gain, and it should be a really good presentation for you to use going forward. So at this point, what I would ask is everybody use the chat if you've got questions. We will open up for questions at the end of the presentation. But please, if you have something, if you need point of clarification, by all means, put it into the chat and I will bring that up to Nitin. So at this point, Nitin, I'll let you run with it. And yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for Louis and CPSG to give us this opportunity to present MyQ Facility Access and MyQ Diagnostics. We have been selling this product for quite some time, 2-3 years now, and Diagnostics is the latest feature that we have developed. And we find this feature specifically interesting for dealers. And this is the presentation about talking about what is MyQ Facility and how Diagnostics can help, particularly to the dealers. So what I will talk about is I'll start from the very basics about a connected operator, and we'll talk about how a set of connected operators help in MyQ Facility. And then we'll talk about what is the MyQ Diagnostics and why MyQ Diagnostics is important for me. When I say me, it's a dealer. So it's not just useful for the end user, but it's also for the dealer. And then we can talk about how can I sell this to the customer, which is the end user, and how can LiftMaster help in this process. So what resources, what everything that we have put together that will help you sell it. So let's get started. Everything Chamberlain and LiftMaster, we have been talking about a connected operator for some time, and we have done that for residential operators, of course. But for our commercial operators are also connectable. And we see a lot of benefits from the residential side through the app and through all the technologies that we have developed. But there is a vast amount of resource of information and capabilities on the commercial side as well, which can help, which can be derived from the connectivity of an operator. So when you connect an operator to the cloud, you can get answers to all of these questions. Hey, is that particular door open or closed? Is it having any problem? What's the nature of the issue? How many times it was opened? Who opened it? Is it open when it should not be? All of these things that are questions that are faced by the end users can be helped address by this MyQ facility and by connecting that operator to the MyQ. So why these questions are important? Of course, using these questions, you can inform to the right people and take corrective actions in the shortest amount of time possible. So, and I mean, think about this, what MyQ facility is doing all of this, but at an aggregated or at a facility level. So that's what MyQ Smart Facility Access is. When you connect an operator to MyQ, and then you can get answers to all of your questions. So connector operator is a foundation, and you can build on top of it all the data and everything that you need to deliver all of these things. So what all MyQ Smart Facility Access does, it allows you to remotely access. So you can check whether it's open or closed. You can have a facility view. You can see here that those green squares indicate that the door is open, and the solid squares indicate that door is closed. This is very important for a fire station from a theft perspective, or if you are leaving the facility for rushing to an emergency, your central command system can close the doors for you. You don't have to worry about if the doors are closed. Similarly, facility visualization, monitor access point status, who opened it. We have a detailed log of activity. Okay, this was permission was granted and this is how it was opened. We have, and diagnostics is the latest feature that we are providing, and we will go into much more detail about this particular area of MyQ facility access. Because if you look at it, the facility visualization, the whether it's open close, whether all of these things are very relevant and useful to the end user, but they don't serve any purpose for the dealer as such. So that's where I think diagnostics is going to make a difference, as it definitely improves the life of a dealer using a MyQ facility. So just going a little bit more deeper, when I talk about actionable notifications, so um, door left open is one of the common notifications that we do. You know that your facility is open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. in case of an auto dealership, or 7 a.m. to a 9 p.m. in case of an auto dealership. Now, if somebody comes in and opens the door at 10 p.m., for whatever the reason, there is no way to know if he is doing with a clicker that is authorized, that he's an authorized user of. But you don't know who opened it. You know that a clicker opened it, but you don't know who opened it. Versus if you open it through MyQ facility, you actually know that this was the user who opened it, as well as you can get a notification that, hey, the door was opened at 10 p.m. for so and so facility. Now you can take action on it because it's a text message, it's an email that you are going to get. Similarly, who opened it, you can see it in the activity log and it's clearly visible. Now, we are not only, this is what I call like a real-time monitoring information. Something happened, then I need to know as quick as possible. That's real time. Well, when you are also looking at an automotive dealership, there is importance to an aggregated data, and that's where reports comes in. So throughout this particular chart, which is talking about total open hours and total number of cycles by device, and this one, the dark blue being number of cycles, I can see that my door 2 has the most number of cycles in this particular, in last 7 days. Now, I talk about last 6 months, and if I continue to keep using door 2 much more as compared to door number 21, guess what? Door number 2 is going to break down much earlier than door number 21, which also means that door number 2 needs a whole lot of maintenance and more attention to be given um, to door number 21. And these are the aggregated data insights that can be derived from MyQ facility. Now, think about this. If I'm an automotive dealership or automotive shop, like maybe a Jiffy Lube or something, and I have one bay that is alignment bay, and every customer that I get, 80% of the customer get alignment. I'm great in alignment. I'm known for alignment. Well, that door is going to get used much more than the others. So even if I'm maintaining my every door every 6 months, it's not going to be enough because that alignment bay door is going to fail first than any other doors. I'm using it more. So this kind of, and if that goes down as an unplanned um, door downtime, it's going to impact my revenue because 80% of my customers go to the alignment. If the door is broken, it can't be used, then my revenue is impacted. So in a commercial setting, generally I say that if a door is down, then there is a dollar value that can be associated with it uh, for the maintenance portion, and that's where you are more aligned to get the customer signed up for preventive maintenance. And diagnostics and facility access is a great tool to aid to that maintenance. So this is sort of I hope I gave you a very brief overview of what is MyQ facility access and what it is useful for. Now I want to go a little bit more detail into the size of MyQ facility. So if you look at it, the four verticals that we have identified, self-storage, auto dealers and repair, fire stations. By the way, 80% of fire stations already have a Logic 5 operator. So it's a great market segment for connection. Hardware is all there. All we need to do is connect, and then the fire station starts benefiting from this. And small and mid-sized warehouses, you can see that whole large number of these facilities, they exist, they use our products all day long, but they are not connected, and they are a potential market to to benefit from this. So we are also talking about the key needs, about why they would be purchasing MyQ facility. But uh, but that's that's there is a huge market, there is a huge potential for this. It's a big revenue opportunity for you guys, and we can help, is the message that I want to deliver. So it's a huge opportunity. Diagnostics and MyQ facility can help you grow the business. So now let's talk about a little bit more about diagnostics. So diagnostics, as I mentioned, is a portion of the MyQ facility access. I think that is very much relevant to the dealers. And so let's see. So today, when you talk about repairing or maintaining a uh, customer's location, it all starts with a call. It starts with a call that the customer is calling you and saying that, hey, my door is down, can you come fix it? And now I don't know exactly how you are getting your customer calls, but from the survey that we did to of our all dealers all across the USA, there were 31 dealers that participated, and they told us that 80% of their customers, they call us with little and no information about what the problem is. So they give you a call, they say that come fix it, but you know nothing about the problem. Is it a problem of photo alignment? Is it a problem of RPM sensor? It is the board going down? We don't know. Nobody knows. And nobody wants to find out. They just want their door operational and fixed. So all of the today, if you see, all of the thing is reactive, and maybe there is some periodic where people are maintaining the doors every 6 months and hoping that nothing breaks during those 6 months. Actually, if it breaks during those 6 months, then the customer is even more mad, because they say that, hey, what have you been doing? We told you to maintain every 6 months. You came and serviced it, but it's still broken. So it's even bigger problem if it fails in the 6 months. And the background is, okay, you have been using this door a whole lot than any other doors in your facility, is unknown to the end user as well as to the dealer. So nobody can pinpoint what the problem is. But anyway, so currently there is reactive and currently there is periodic. Where we want to go is to have it proactive and then eventually to predictive. Proactive means we do it at the shortest time, and we sort of, if we see it's activity based, so if we see that there is a higher potential to fail, then we are going to fix it earlier. So we'll go into deeper about how this happens, and that's what this story is going to show you. So for example, today, if there is a problem and an operator, then the customer calls you and you arrange for a technician to show up. So while the technician is getting prepared to go and has put it in his schedule, everything, then the customer is waiting. So that's the wait period. And then when the dealer technician shows up on the customer side, then he is finding out the fault and then fixing it. So that's the story today. Well, what MyQ Diagnostics is going to do is that whenever there is a fault on the operator, it's going to send immediately on a connected operator, it's going to send an email and a text message to the end user as well as to the dealer. So if you think about uh, when you have the information that is necessary for you to fix the end user's problem, it is going to be in this part when your technician is showed up at the customer site, versus when you have MyQ Diagnostics, the information is going to available the information is available to you exactly at the point of when the problem happens, and and the customer knows. So there is no miscommunication, there is no problem. And with this, armed with this information, you can take all kinds of decisions that, hey, John has 10 years of experience and Adam doesn't. So this is a complex problem. I would better send John for this solving this problem than Adam. Now, this is a complex problem, so John is going to need probably 3 hours. So I shouldn't schedule John for this next job. Is John the best suited? If John is not, then maybe Jeremy is. He's also equally experienced, but he took this training, and that's why he will be able to solve the problem. Now, in case of the problem that I described, if you send Adam and John, they are going to struggle. They're going to need more time, and they probably have to sometimes even come back to solve the problem. If they don't have the right part, that's another problem where you need to make a double visit. And so the point here is that because you have this information and because you are sending the right guy the first time, the customers, and because it's a known problem, so reduced on-site fixing time because you're not trying to figure out what the problem is, it's really going to save the customer the door downtime. And I mentioned in my speak earlier that every day the door time or the door is down, it's kind of accumulates to the dollars. So you are actually saving customer money. You are actually giving a lot of benefit to the customer. We also talked, so customer is happy because of their good experience, and that's why they are going to call you next time and not some other dealer when they need something fixed or they need new equipment. Then you sort of become the preferred dealer. And that's the benefit of diagnostics. It helps your operations as well as it helps you deliver a very good customer experience for the customer. Now, we talked about whether if there is no right part available or enough time, and that can all happen. And today, our dealers tell us that about 20% of their trips are double trips, which means the technician shows up at the site. They cannot fix the problem for one or different reason. So that means they have to come back and the customer has to wait even more before the problem is fixed. In case of Diagnostics, because you know the problem, it's even more downtime saved. And there will be some double trips that will be saved. And we talked about all of these qualitative benefits of saving 20% of the trips or not having to diagnose the problem on site. I mean, these are real benefits that will yield dollars not only for the customer because they are saving on the door downtime, but they are also putting dollars in your pocket because you are able to send the right guy to the right problem and solve the customer's problem in shortest amount of time. So if you look at it, it's about $300,000 of benefit that our dealers tell that could benefit for a typical dealer who has like 10 technicians and has 500 doors that they are supporting. So let's take a recap of how Facility Diagnostics would benefit a dealer. So the dealer will benefit from recurring revenue from preventive maintenance. And also from MyQ Facility Access. For MyQ Facility Access subscriptions, we do share the revenue with the dealer. So if you bring a dealer and end user to us, sign up for them for MyQ Facility and manage the billing, you get a portion of the revenue, and that's a recurring revenue stream. It's easier troubleshooting because now you know what the problem is. It avoids you like double trips. It avoids second trips as well as it's easier to solve the problem. And the third one is that you, in 80% of the cases, when the customer is telling you that there is no information available, now you are getting the information. So you are sending the right guy and you are solving the problem in the first visit. And the facility diagnostics is not just benefiting you, it's also benefiting the end user because I talked about it's like more uptime, which means less downtime, less frustration. Because think about the employee who is calling you and saying that, hey, I want to get this door fixed. And you are going to tell him that, okay, what's the problem? And he's going to say, no, I don't know what's the problem. And now when you say that, so you don't know, so you are going to say that, okay, John, he's going to come by and he will come by in 2 days and we'll take a look at it. Instead of that, the MyQ diagnostic conversation is going to be when the customer calls or when you call the customer, oh, I know about the problem. We know what part we need. That part is coming here tomorrow. I've already ordered it from LiftMaster, and John will bring the part on Wednesday, 12 a.m. and he needs 3 hours, and he will fix the problem. I mean, that's a much better conversation to have when everything is fixed and the customer has certainty, he has less frustration, all different kind of things. Sometimes, we find that the problem is super simple, like aligning the photo eyes. A, the customer can do themselves. B, you can tell them on the phone and the problem gets fixed right away. I mean, if the customer is happy to do that, and if you show up and the photo eyes are misaligned, he's going to be unhappy that, okay, why didn't you tell me on the phone? Or things like that. So lot of this frustration or a lot of conflict gets reduced. It's a quicker problem solving because because it no or reduced second trips, and also real-time information to prevent issues, which means that the user can also see that, hey, I'm using the door number 2 much more, so I can either use other doors and spread the load, or I can maintain the door number 2 most likely and more frequently, and then solve the problem. So combining all of this, uh, we talked about 80% of the customers don't give any benefit, don't give any information. 20% of truck rolls need 2 trips, one for diagnostics and one for fix. And our dealers tell us that if this is really possibility, then 40% of our customers could benefit, and truck rolls could benefit from this feature. If you combine all of these, it's more than $300,000 benefit annually for a dealer, for a typical dealer with 10 technicians and 500 dock doors under PM program. And we are also saying 40% connectivity rate. So there is a significant dollar amount benefit that you have had. We have, this is a case study, but it's also a calculator. So if you want to get your business analyzed, uh, we can pull some numbers for you, and we have the calculator. So let us know, and we'll be happy to work with you to find out more about this. So also, which operators are supporting Logic 5? It's supported, and they can be connected with 828 LMB or 819 LMB. We have DDOs, they have built-in Wi-Fi, and they are for dock door operators, so they don't need any hubs. And we are also coming up with gates which use the 828 LMB or cap AC to get connected and transfer all of this diagnostics information. The next gen operator that we are working on, it's coming out next year, and that one is going to have a Wi-Fi, and it's going to have even enriched information about diagnostics, and we will share that in a subsequent video or webinar when we go that route. But also what you have to look at is that there are about 2 million operators right now operating in United States, all waiting to be connected and availing of this benefit. So there is a huge market out there if you want to go after. So,
Nitin,
yeah,
I'm going to hold you there for just a moment.
please.
We did have
Yes.
a question from the chat. I think this is a good point to put it in. So we had Jared ask if there's going to be an option to hardwire to the diagnostic capability. We install a lot of CAP systems, and in order to use this diagnostic feature, we understand we can't have the relay hardwired and use the Bluetooth or wireless connection, which is required for the diagnostic. And I think he's referring probably more to the gate operator side of
Yeah.
facility. Is there any, I guess the question would be, the reason that they would do that is I think there's like a 3 or 4 second delay between the open command using the wireless connection and then being able to, hardwire it. So they usually want to hardwire it so it's not the beeping, so it's quicker response time for opening. Is that in line with what you understand, or is there anything changing? Are they going to have a hardwire way and still being able to get the full diagnostic and gate operators?
Yeah, so let me answer the question, and you tell me if I have answered the questions or not. So today, gate diagnostics, gates are connected to CAP devices, and CAP devices, you can get diagnostics information through our MyQ system and MyQ community system. You can get notifications on that. So that path is there. What we are working on is, if a gate is not connected to a CAP device, then you will be able to connect it to Wi-Fi using or to Ethernet using this hubs, and then you can connect it to MyQ facility and start getting notifications. So that's what we are working on. Does that answer your question?
I'm not sure if that's fully answering the question. I think where the disconnect is that MyQ facility and MyQ
Yes.
community are two different platforms.
Yes.
There's some similarities obviously between them, but the MyQ facility is more dedicated towards multi-door facilities with
Yeah,
perimeter
warehouses,
security,
stations. Yes.
whereas a community system is more for your gated communities, your multifamily
Correct.
dwellings, those sorts
Correct.
of properties.
Yeah.
So the diagnostics and the reporting that those two different demographics need are going to be different, and that's why they're separated. And the
Okay.
functionality is going to be different between the two.
Okay.
So, all right.
So again, I will repeat that through CAP devices, you can get notifications for the gates today. What we are working on is if a gate is not connected to CAP devices, you can still get those information, get that information. That's what we are working on. That's what's coming.
Coming. Okay. So we are working on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll let you keep rolling on. Thanks, Denton.
Yeah. So as a dealer, if you like MyQ Diagnostics, there are several, and MyQ facility, there are several ways to work on it. One is I mentioned like, okay, the typical pricing for a MyQ facility is $1.49 per year, and that's based on per door. So that's per door. So if a fire station has 6 doors or 7 doors, then they are paying about $300 a year, roughly. And that's the list price. You can, but as a dealer, you will get 30% off of that if you when you manage the billing. And that's one end of the stick. And the other one is that if you have a fire station that you want to introduce us to them, but you don't want to manage the billing, then we can manage the billing and we can train the customer and everything. Or you can just pass on the information, and then we can have our people work with the customer to uh, to make the sale. So the point here is that we have some support systems, and we have trainings, and we have everything to enable you to make this a sale, because we understand that this is going to be a slightly different sale than your traditional hardware sale. So we can either work with you, or you can choose to work on it yourself and get the benefit of bundling it with your PM programs and supporting the customer that way. So what is included? We talked about this. We can do most monitor and control from anywhere. We can do access management, where multiple people can access the same access point, notification of access event and good log, commercial intelligence reporting, and plant maintenance and diagnostics, which we already talked about. Um, I also want to talk about a little bit about LiftMaster. Many of you may be using LiftMaster, selling LiftMaster. So thank you very much. But if you are looking into it, LiftMaster has a very well brand recognition, one of the strongest in the industry. We have innovative products. I think we are probably one of the very few who have diagnostics on the CDOs and to the level of technology integration. We are also going towards the working on this RMR, which is the recurring maintenance revenue or recurring management revenue model, and that will definitely help in growing your business, where you are not just selling the hardware once in 20 years or 10 years, but you are getting revenue off of that every single year. We want to be a partner with you, and Luis can also share with you some of the other partnership benefits. We have a good team that can support you throughout the process. And we do understand that this is a step change when you want to sell software in case of hardware. So our team is prepared to support you on that. And of course, as I mentioned, working with LiftMaster using diagnostics will improve your efficiency, overall market efficiency. You can do service more customers with the same number of technicians that you have, and because you are using your technicians efficiently. So, what kind of support we can offer and this is particularly specifically for the software. Okay, that's what this slide is about. It doesn't change any of your hardware interactions through CPSG or directly to Chamberlain. However, you are buying your product, it does not change any of that. But for software purposes, we can working with you on the training of the software, getting customers set up, live software demonstrations for the customer, share insights from reports. Not just signing up the customer is important, but also sharing those insights that at 3 months, hey, you are using your door two much more. So please keep that maintained more frequently than the others. That's an insight that will help the end user. So we can share with that as well. So we can support as much as or as little as you need in this selling experience. So in terms of resources and next steps, what we are requesting is that look at your current installs. If you have facilities that have 20, 30 Logic 5s that you have connected, they would be a good opportunities to sell this. And so if you don't want to sell, please share those leads with us and we will sell. We are not trying to compete with you. We are not trying to take your business. We are actually making it better because your customer will improve with their customer experience. If you are trying for any new installs, do share with them connectivity. That will help you stand out from the others who are not offering these kind of benefits. Combined with existing preventive maintenance plans, connectivity is definitely going to help you deliver better customer service. And the third thing that I would ask is bring us in for help. We are here to support you and we want you to be successful, because if you are successful and grown, then LiftMaster is growing, then CPSG is growing. So any of these, please reach out to Louis, and he knows the right people within our organization to connect. We specifically have two individuals that are assigned to, one is assigned to the East Coast, one is assigned to the West Coast, and their specific task is to go on site, show this to the dealers, demonstrations, work with them, train them, make them comfortable, and also to the level of help them sell to a pilot customer, like an example customer that they want to try it out and get it ready with. And then once you do it one time, you will get much more comfortable with it, and you will see the benefits of this for your own customers. So that's sort of what we request. I think this is a very standard information about the technical support and how you can get an email support. But that's the main gist of presentation that I had for today. So Louis, are there any questions?
I don't see any more. There might be a point of clarification, but what I really want everybody to take away from this webinar that Nitin put on and the information that's presented is, we all have a customer or an auto body shop or a service shop of some sort, fire station, a warehousing facility, that we've all gotten that frantic call at 8 a.m. and saying my door's down, it's been up for 4 hours, it's snowing. And what the difference is, instead of being reactive, now we can be proactive. You've already gotten that email, so when you're doing your dispatch for that day, that one of your high customers or one of your large spend customers, good direct customers, they are going to need some help, and maybe you can already have that technician rolling that way, or being able to reach out with a phone call and contact their facility and, hey, do we need to get out? We saw an error happen last night or this morning, and just really be predictive. And so when we start talking about the $40 or the what it costs to have essentially an access point on this system, for a yearly service of $40 to be able to know that real-time information is invaluable to a dealer, to your team, to your dispatch, to your technicians. Just like, if it's something simple, if it's something easy and you can walk them through on the phone because you know what's going on, or if maybe we need to get that seasoned technician out there to complete the repair and have that, full day blocked off. The other thing is just being able to know what doors need to be PM'd. If you can get cycle counts out of something, if you can get, where it's at, what's the high use ones, and really be able to, drive targeted PMs. Many of these things can be rolled into your current preventive and maintenance contracts, and really establish that, better relationship between you and your customer. And so what we ask is really, if you have a customer, if you've got that one in mind that I've just talked about, reach out to me. My contact information, I'll make sure that gets shared again after the presentation. If it's, one or two doors, well, we can probably work through that relatively quickly. Maybe grab one of the LiftMaster associates that are really, know this stuff like the back of their hand. But if you do have that facility that's got 20 doors, 40 doors, that, when you're talking to this facility manager and there's a real opportunity to get a full integration going, by all means, we can arrange, site visits. We can arrange that white glove support that you may need for the first couple sites. But just like if anybody on this call has been through the MyQ community side of things, once you've done a few sites, it'll lead to being able to better sell it, being able to better understand it, and then the installation process and setup process will be a lot easier. So, I'll go ahead, and if anybody wanted to join by voice and ask some questions directly, it looks like we got plenty of time to do that. There was one other, I guess, clarification that Jared wanted to make. And this was going back to that hardwire. Let's say that we have a community gate operator that was also part of a facility, which really probably it shouldn't really happen since they're two different demographics. But let's say that we did have a gate operator and they wanted to tie it into a facility. They would just need to have the 821 or the 828 gateway attached separately than whatever their card reader system is or whatever may be driving it. That way they can get diagnostics, right? And then, I mean, if they have an 828, they're going to be able to get connections. If they had a CapXM or a CapXLV at the front of the property and the gate operator, they would still want to do hardwire and connect the CapXLV at this point to the gate operator.
Correct.
And use an 828 to be able to get diagnostics into the facility side of things.
Yeah, I think if they have a CapXM, they can add that CapXM to, they can add the CapXM. Again, sorry, this is a little bit digress because it's a community product as well. So if they can actually sign up for the MyQ community, then they can get notifications today even.
Yeah, and so with the question, yeah, and where the issue is, and this is something that you said that they were working on and trying to make a smoother connection, is if you wirelessly connect something alert system that's part of the MyQ communication, and so most dealers will opt to directly hardwire to it and not have that connection path via wireless and hardwire. That's where
absolutely that hardwire connection will continue, because I understand that it's the right way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we are saying is that after the CapXM, if you connect the CapXM to MyQ, then you can get a whole lot on the other additional benefits as well.
Okay. Did anybody else have any other questions, either in the chat or via that wanted to join in via voice? You're more than welcome to do so. All right.
If not, I just want to probably quickly show the software, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, we can do that. We got plenty of time here for those that are still on with us.
You are still seeing my screen, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so if you've seen the community side of things, it's a very similar type platform with some pretty key differences.
So we have different products. One of the product is so I'm showing you a little bit more than just MyQ facility. So you can see here door open and close. You can see the activity what happened, and you can see the journal log, which I talked about, where who did what assignments and who opened the doors. Those kind of things can be seen. You can manage notifications. You can manage notifications where you go to facility, and here is your door left open notification. And if you go for the door left open notification, you can see which doors, whether you want to send it immediately or a little bit longer. You can select on which days. You can select which particular devices are can be selected, and you can also select recipients, different recipients. So my point here was that it's very customizable and tailored to your needs, for the end user needs, and how to set it up and everything can be covered by um, our our setup team. Additionally, you can also see a notification. We can actually add one. So this is going to be a commercial door or gate notification, and let's say 5,000 cycles notification. I want to have it done all. So doors. There was no specific devices, but if there is a door which is like logic 5, then you can say that, okay, when it reaches 5,000 cycles, please send me a notification. That is possible to do as a 5,000 cycles notification. So you are not necessarily getting notification only for the fault, but you are also getting a notification for the when the service count is reached, which is kind of triggering a maintenance job or maintenance revenue for you.
And
So
again, I guess I just want to make a point, and we were talking about the setup process, some for those that may be on the call that are not, uh, computer wizards and being able to set up this type of stuff. And if this looks foreign by any means, that's where, if you need that white gloves, approach of being able to
yes,
really help you for the first few or even the first 10, however much support that you need to get this off the ground, installed properly, say configured properly to where there's useful and meaningful reporting. CPSG as well as the LiftMaster team, they're more than willing to work with you and your end user and the installation technicians to be able to make sure that it's all dialed in exactly what you want. And so if you're getting through here and I'm not sure how I could set this up, or we are here as a team to be able to help you do so.
yeah, that is correct. Thank you. You can also add different people, however many people. There is no limit on how many people you can add. Then you can set up facility schedules. There are different capabilities for vendors and staff, all different things. We have different roles. So we have dealer owner, dealer manager, facility owner, and they each see different things. So can be customizable. And the last but not the least is the reports. There are a ton of reports that are available for this particular setup, which makes like I talked about, where it shows like, okay, how many truck sessions did you have and what kind of docks did you have, and it can be selected by particular timings, last 30 days, this quarter. You can also compare time periods, and can be dissected by many different ways. each of these thing is done by specific for a specific reason. How one is for counts, other one it basically answers a specific question that you have. And we can go over this in many more details once you actually have a customer and we are setting up for the customer. And there is a lot of, we are actually enhancing. I talked about micro facility, but there is a special solution for warehouses, for dock management, uh, for tracking the trucks coming in and going, but that we can save for another seminar as needed. Any further questions?
I think there was something in the chat that we should be good on now, regarding if we connect a cap AC to a non-branded LiftMaster, or to a manufacturer that's not LiftMaster, we can get access, but however, we won't be able to get diagnostics. Fair enough, right? We'll be able to get the access side of stuff if a non-branded lift,
Right.
but you won't be able to get diagnostics
Yes.
out of it. All right. Well, we got 50 minutes in or so. I want to say thank you for everybody being on here. Again, we will send a recap of this video or this webinar. Also some links that were mentioned either in the chat or whatnot. And I really I appreciate everybody being on here, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining, and thank you CPSG for giving us this opportunity.